Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are once more with our Rolequests here in the bar of Brook Evus. And the last Rolequest remaining for me is for the ranged DPS. And it begins with Ceetol Ja to steal a Steelhog. Greetings. So you have decided to aid my people in retrieving our treasure, yes? May we be glad to know my long and arduous journey from our homeland in the distant south of Yogg-Tural was not in vain. As for the treasure we would have you recover, it contains the undying essence of an armadillo Tural Vidral. These steelhogs, as we call them, rely on their tough hides to protect themselves from predators. The legends speak of one that lived to an extraordinary age, perhaps due to its natural suit of armor, and came to be known as the Lord of the Forest. At the end of its long life, our ancestors enshrined the Vidral's soul within the Steelhog Vessel. For generations since, the divine blessings it bestows have been a great boon to my people. Those in its protection need not fear wild beasts, for fang and claw cannot harm them. This allows us to hunt the foes without risking our lives. This treasure, so crucial to our people, was stolen by a tall, slender merchant. Or rather, a man posing as one. He came bearing exotic wares from foreign lands, and served alcohol freely, toasting often to new friendships. My people became caught up in the celebration, and in the morning, the merchant was gone, along with the Steelhog Vessel. Without it, we cannot bestow its blessing afresh upon our hunters. The effect wanes over time, and one by one we are losing our protection against the savage predators that stalk our lands. As I and my granddaughter Ceetol Ja still possess the treasure's blessing, we have been tasked with locating the Steelhog Vessel and returning it to the village. The trail led us here to Leolal, and we believe the perpetrator boarded the ship and made good his escape. The journey here has already pushed this decrepit body of mine beyond its natural limits, and a lengthy voyage by sea would likely be my end. Although I urged Ceetol Ja not to make the crossing alone, she was determined to give chase. Given that you hail from across the ocean, your knowledge of those lands will prove invaluable to her. Not only that, but our quarry may use the Steelhog Vessel to its own ends. Only a skilled warrior can stand against such a foe, and Ceetol Ja is no warrior. You have your treasure in 2 shakes of an armadillo's tail. It sounds a bit cocky, but I don't like either of these options, really. Refusal is an option. Fine, I'll help. I'm truly grateful. My granddaughter's first port of call is a place called Ala Mhigo. You see, as a thief took all of his wares with him, the only clue left behind was an empty bottle of whatever grog he was serving. After asking the sailors here, it seems it was produced in Ala Mhigo. With no other leads, Ceetol Ja set forth. Once you arrive, she should not be difficult to find. These days only a handful of Mamool attempt the journey, most of them brutish mercenaries. Ceetol Ja is a far daintier creature and is sure to have made a favorable impression on the locals. May the Steelhog watch over you. Ceetol Ja has traveled to Ala Mhigo. Perhaps you should begin your search by asking around at Walga's Reach. And if it was a map, we would probably go to Ala Mhigo's city, but it isn't. It is a dungeon only. We cannot enter it. Except for the Ala Mhigan quarter. So, who do we have? Jermaine. I look for a Mamool woman. Yes, I met the Mamool girl you're after. She was looking for a tall, thin man. Some sort of thief, apparently. It sounds a bit like the leader of a gang of bandits that lurks around Virgila, so I told her as much. Chances are that's where she's headed. I hope she stays out of trouble. Odila. A Mamool, you say? As it happened, she came over while I was cleaning the cannons. She showed me an empty arak bottle and said she was looking for the bloke that belonged to. Being as that runs found all over Ala Mhigo, so I wasn't able to help narrow down her search. Yes, I saw a Mamool on my patrols, but he carried an enormous axe. Not at all like the person you describe. So, the Chala. Ouch. Here, let me apply some of this ointment. It's a common remedy where I'm from. Oh, are you to lend a hand? This poor soul was attacked by highwaymen that could use help tending to his wounds. Don't worry about me, it's my escort who's in trouble. He's in pursuit of a thief and I fear he's bitten off more than he can chew. Please, will you aid him? I can do that. You thieving bastards! What? But how? Behold! Ah! Nothing like a bit of divine intervention to tip the scales in my favor. With this artifact in my hands, I'm invincible. Another one, huh? Not that it matters. Ceetol Ja, it's time you earned your coin. I appreciate the assistance, but he wasn't joking about divine intervention. Some strange force pushed me back. I can't even get near them. The Steelhog Vessel, return it at once and the stolen goods. You followed me all the way here from your backwater village? Alas, your journey has been for naught. The vessel is mine. I, Chalteaufite, will make better use of the artifact than you and your ilk ever could. By the might bestowed upon me, I will become savior of the oppressed and destitute. In light of my grand ambitions, the vessel's power would be wasted on the likes of you. If you cannot hunt without it, might I suggest a change of diet? I hear the acorns are delicious at this time of year. Damn it all, I was so close! But now's not the time for regret. We store indeed of a healer. I see them safely to Valga's reach. Would you mind meeting us there? Once their injuries have been treated, we'd better tell the resistance soldiers what happened. Alright. See you. Losing all that stock is a bitter pill to swallow, but we're lucky they didn't take our lives as well. I thought I could handle whatever ruffians the desert might throw at us. Some escort I turned out to be. Well, I'm glad we made it safely without any more trouble. Most bandits wouldn't dare step foot in this place. Ah, how rude of me, I never asked your name, and how you chanced across us, for that matter. Desiree Klingor, and your grandfather asked me to look for you. You came all the way from Tuliola at my grandfather's behest. I can't tell you how grateful I am. As for the highwayman that possessed the Steelhog Vessel, a treasure for my village. Not only does it grant protection from harm, it also produces a potent blast when the barrier is dispelled. As long as our enemies have a vessel, attacks at clone quarters will be extremely risky. Although, as we say in my village, cracks form in even the mightiest of shields. Knowing this, we are careful not to rely too heavily on its power. But now that the Steelhog Vessel has been stolen, the self-same power is being turned against innocent people, such as yourself. I only hope you can forgive me for allowing this to happen. There's nothing to forgive. If anything, we should thank you for coming to our aid. That Chalteaufite and his lackeys have a lot to answer for. Indeed. We'll give the resistance our testimonies, and with any luck, the information will go some way to clapping these bandits in irons. I'll go with you. The soldiers need to be warned about the vessel. No, leave it to us. We'll relay what you've told us, word for word. After all, you need to move quickly to have any chance of getting your artifact back. When you catch those robbers, give them one for me. How about you, Desiree? I hope I can count on you to be there for whatever else comes next. I knew it. I sense you're eager to get started, but I need time to plan our next move. Bandits are known for being found easily. I was surprised to see a fellow Mamool among them. Can't imagine why that Ceetol Ja would work for Chalteaufite of all people. Bandits abound. For hers is not the easiest face to read, Ceetol Ja's expression suggests she has vital information to share. Desiree, I heard something that might help us. One of the soldiers has been contending with the same bandits who stole the vessel. I go and find him. Give me a moment, would you? Sorry to keep you waiting. Ha! When she told me she'd been sent an assistant, never would have guessed it would be the savior of Ala Mhigo herself. You are something of a local celebrity, I take it? That I am. I'd love to hear more about that, but for now, let's concentrate on the matter at hand. Yes, quite. The bandits you've been chasing are behind a spate of recent incidents in Ala Mhigo. What's more, it appears that Chalteaufite is part of a larger network known as the Passage of the Unbound, which is spreading its mayhem far and wide. particular, we've been carrying out raids on trade caravans heading here from Gridania. We've increased patrols along that route, but the bastards strike so quickly that they've usually made good their escape by the time aid arrives. On the rare occasion we've caught them in the act, they use some kind of device or matched object to deflect our arrows and send us sprawling. That's the Steelhog Vessel. It was stolen from my village, you see. I'm sorry for all the trouble it's caused. The one who took it, Chalteaufite, said something about using its power to help the oppressed and destitute. What do you think he means by that? That sounds familiar. Reports say the thieves were shouting something along those lines during the other raids. They claim the merchants are overworking and underpaying their laborers and therefore deserve to be targeted. I don't see how stealing a bunch of goods help the workers, and there's not a shred of evidence that anyone has been exploited. If you ask me, they're just in it for the money. In any case, the reason won't matter a jot to once they're behind bars. But for that, we have to catch them first. The most recent incident occurred near Porta Pretoria, one of the waypoints on the road to the palace. If you want to know more, you'd best hear it straight from the commander there. Anyway, I'll send word ahead to let her know you're coming, assuming you are, that is. Yes, of course, much appreciated. This sounds like a promising lead. The soldiers here were good enough to explain the lie of the land around here, so I shouldn't have any trouble making the journey by myself. I'll see you there. I think I found the right person. Also ever difficult to tell who's who with those matching uniforms. Good, you're both here. My colleague at the Reach has told me everything. I can confirm that we have several sightings of Chalteaufite and his gang in recent days. They have even taken to ambushing our patrols. Whereas most brigands would flee from armed and armored soldiers, this lot seems to take pleasure in goading us into attacking. The treasure they carry makes them invulnerable. It can also emit a devastating blast, but that's only effective at short range. Chalteaufite wants to draw your soldiers into close quarters because there they stand no chance. Well, that explains their uncommon boldness. Thank you. This information will go far in helping us contend with the bandits. Sorry to interrupt. Who might you be? Oh, simple peddlers, my good lady. I myself am from Gridanian stock, and after learning my craft in the markets of Ulda, I now deliver all manner of finery to eager patrons throughout Eorzea. But enough about that. I hope you forgive me, but I couldn't help overhearing you mention a gang of highwaymen. I've heard similar tales from other traders passing through, and it seems some stretch of road are more dangerous than others. In fact, the bandits are most often seen at a specific location not far from here. If you like, we can take you there ourselves. You're the bandit leader. Please, by all means. Wait, Desiree can take care of herself, but I can't allow any more civilians unnecessary into an area believed to be teeming with bandits. It seems I have no choice but to ask you to go without me. Sorry, but if those highwaymen did turn up, I wouldn't be much good in a fight. While you head off to investigate, I'll see if there's any more information to be had here. When it's settled, I shall leave our newfound friend in your capable hands. What? If you say so. I suppose we should be on our way then. If we do run into those highwaymen, you protect us, right? That I can do. Can't set it your way now. You know what to do. What? Unacceptable. Either you do this without my help, or I find someone who can. Show some backbone for once. I see if they can tell me anything more about Chalteaufite and his gang. Be careful out there, won't you? Should you encounter the highwayman, I trust you will exercise some degree of restraint. We can't interrogate the suspects if we reduce them to a bloody pulp. Now can we? Just put them on their asses and leave the rest to us. Considering that I'm walking right into a trap, wouldn't be so certain that's the way it goes. Did you hear that? Barts, must be my imagination. Let's not dally here too long. You're almost there, just the other side of this gully. Actually, if it's all the same to you, we wait here while you go on ahead. It's already more than close enough for my liking. What just hit me? Please stop! What? You're back? I mean, welcome back. But yes, that's it. Back. You beat them? All of them? How very fortunate. Well, then, I'd best contact the boss. I'm sure he'll want to know all about this. I thought he's still talking to your friend and the commander. I'd be glad to hear you've come to no harm. You never guess what, boss. She trounced a lot of them. Ah, yes, understood. I'm not quite sure why, but he said they'll be here in a jiffy. Is it true you beat them all single-handedly? Boss is very rare. For you guys. Godspeed God, I'm glad you're on our side. Anyway, I take it from here. My, very impressive. And how jolly convenient for those villains to appear exactly where we thought they would too. But above all, I'm glad no one was hurt. Well, no one important with this. I'm relieved to see that everyone's safe. It must take a lot of courage to bring Desiree here, knowing that danger could be lurking around every corner. Are you sure you're right? We're putting on a brave face for our benefit. There's no need, I assure you. No, we're fine. Couldn't be better. Well then, I'd say that enough excitement for one day. We'd best continue on our way to the Ala Mhigo quarter. Where's to sell, deals to broker, that sort of thing. I guess there'll be some time before any never-do-wells have a girl to descend upon this neck of a desert. As for you, my friends, I advise you not to stray too far from a beaten path. If you know what's good for you, ta-ta! There's nothing left for us to do here, so let's head back to Porta Pretoria. The commander isn't back. Well, that was all very strange. One moment they are helping us apprehend the criminals, the next they're racing off to peddle their wares elsewhere. The merchants certainly are a busy lot, aren't they? Not that I'm complaining, of course. With our suspects in custody, I'm sure the resistance will be able to wring some valuable information from them. I expect all that wringing will take a while, though. It looks like we've been given an opportunity for a little rest. You've certainly earned it. Okay, how about we carry on? Take me to your leader. At a guess, I'd say the resistance has been interrogating the captured highwaymen for long enough to get some answers from them. With any luck, we may even learn more about where we can find Chalteaufite. I'm sure the commander is as eager as we are to put a stop to his misdeeds. Let's go and see if she's unearthed any useful information. Wrong Bandit group? Maybe? Ah, I was just about to send someone for you. Glad you could save me the bother. I have a favor to ask of you both. I'm going to let the criminals walk free, and I want you to follow them. You see, our questioning has revealed that the bandits are indeed working with Chalteaufite. If you cut one of them loose, you might lead us straight to their den. But if a mission fails and you are discovered, you may find yourself confronted with an untold number of outlaws. Of course, I've considered sending my own men, but I suspect that by now, the bandits know our faces. After Desiree's little display in the gully, I'm sure she alone can handle whatever troubles may come our way. I'll go with her. If it really does lead to Chalteaufite, I need to be there when we find him. Very well, but if it comes to a fight, you stay behind Desiree, understood? I'll have a suspect brought over now, but remember what I said and stay out of sight until he leaves. Don't look at me like that. I said I'm sorry, didn't I? I bet you did, several times. As much as it galls me, there's no evidence to contract your claim that you were acting in self-defense, nor is there any tangible proof of any other wrongdoing. We have no choice but to let you go. You have somewhere to go, I presume. Well, I suppose I can find work loading caravans in Ala Mhigo. Seems as good a place as any for making quick to turn over a new leaf. In that case, I'll have you escorted there, but you'd best keep your nose clean, or we'll come down on you like a tons of bricks. Yes. As you command. Turn over and you leave my ass. He'll be back among his thieving mates before long, and you'll be right there behind him. For now, all we need to know is the location of that den. Do not attempt to approach the suspects. I sent word ahead to Ala Mhigo. Once you have the information we need, report to the troops stationed there. This is the chance we've been waiting for. Let's go! There he is. So much for finding work in Alagiri. He's only just arrived and he's already leaving town. Now comes the tricky part. Keeping our eyes on him and his eyes off us. Stay close, but not too close. Stealth mission? Follow a bandit from a distance. The objective will end in failure if unnoticed or fall too far behind. Free at last. After him. Got to make sure I ain't been foiled. Better have a look around first. What a pretty stone. Bet it's worth a gill or two. Haha! Which way was it? Left, I think? Is he trying to get rid of us? Better have a look about. Looks like I'm not being followed. Are those buildings abandoned? Could have sworn I heard something. Hang on, what happened to the others who got caught? They're not my problem, I suppose. Time to head back. Those are the merchants we met at Porta Pretoria. So they just let you go out of the kindness of their hearts, is that it? Not only that, but you came crawling back here, leading whoever they sent to track you right to our doorstep. I swear no one followed me. The soldiers took me as far as Alagiri and then went back the way they came. I made sure their specs in the distance before I even set foot outside the town. I suppose I have no choice but to take you at your word. Not that it's worth much. Well, now that the charade is at an end, let us change into something a little less drab. Chalteaufite, Why did you make us fight that woman without a blessing? She would have killed a lot of us without breaking a sweat. A mere oversight, that's all. Though it pains me to admit that even with the invulnerability granted by the artifact, the likes of us are ever at the mercy of the truly powerful. I never expected that Mamool wretch to hire a warrior of such caliber to retrieve a vessel. A pox to was interfering nincompoops. But the Mamool girl didn't seem a bad sort. Naive maybe, but its plain heart is in the right place. You truly are pathetic. Not only did you fail miserably, but now you're sympathizing with the enemy? Give me one good reason why I shouldn't rid myself of you permanently. No, please. We owe everything to you, Chalteaufite. Without you, we are nothing. We were all in on this from the beginning, with Chalteaufite pulling the strings. This is how he treats his friends. Imagine what he'd do to his enemies. You couldn't stay away, could you? What? Imbecile, you let them right to us! Ceetol Ja, eliminate these vermin. Let me handle this, Desiree. You're from Tural, working here as a mercenary, yes? The ones who hired you stole the Steelhog Vessel from my village. We need its blessing to stand a chance against the beasts of the forest. I can't return home without the vessel. Either you return home empty-handed or you won't be returning at all. I'd rather not harm a fellow Turali, so get out of here before I change my mind. I've bought enough time by listening to your blathering. Don't let me catch you sniffing out our tails. Chalteaufite and his underlings are out of our sight. I thought I could make that Ceetol Ja see sense, but he was clearly in no mood to listen. I'd say our best option is to report to resistance members in Alagiri and share what we've learned. I went ahead and gave him an account, though I expect he'd like to hear yours as well. Regardless of how things turned out, we appreciate your cooperation in the investigation. Information you have provided has certainly given us a lot to consider. From what I hear, you almost came to blows with a Mamool sellsword, or sell-axe, I suppose. I'm glad they didn't come to violence, especially given the power these bandits have at their disposal. Even so, we thank you for braving such a dangerous mission. No thanks are needed. We are just as much a part of this investigation as the Resistance. And I'm sure we can agree we need to work together to take down Chalteaufite and his gang. Their performance at Porta Pretoria showed just how cunning they are. It would seem so, yes. I'm told the little act was most convincing. I'll be sure to warn my comrades against any similar shenanigans. As for the two of you, be careful out there. All things considered, I'd say that went fairly well. Chalteaufite used the same trick as the time he came to my village, namely posing as a simple trader, when he's in fact a dastardly thief. Still, not even the most skilled actor could fake the fear in this man's eyes. It appears that Chalteaufite has complete control over them, and they are powerless to resist. The only one who doesn't seem afraid of him is Ceetol Ja. He even let us go when he had no obligation to do so. I think that if he had the chance to talk, we might find some common ground. Well, he hesitated the first time too, right? I get that feeling too. I knew you would. I've never been much of a fighter, but I can make up for it in other ways. I'm a fairly good judge of character for one. For most of my life I lived in a remote village deep in the forest. I had hardly any contact with the outside world, so the thought of talking to strangers was quite daunting at first. But over the course of my journey I've traveled through all kinds of places. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Wherever you go, people are people. In the end, our cultures and the places we grew up don't make that big of a difference. None of us are perfect, and we each have our faults. And even if it's harder to find in some than in others, I believe there's good in all of us. That's why I hope we have another chance to speak with the thieves. And Ceetol Ja. I'm certainly not strong enough to beat any sense into them, so I tried talking some sense to them instead. Having said, well, all of that, I can't feel even a shred of goodness in Chalteaufite. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, or perhaps violence is the only language he understands. Things might get a little rough before he's willing to listen. Anyway, we can save him for last. I'll try to think of a way to reach out to the other members of the gang. Give me a little time, would you? Good, but I end the episode here, and we continue this next time. Until then, amaze and don't get lost.